question, I recognize the member for Oshawa.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. This is a very hard time for auto workers in our community of Oshawa. General Motors has announced the end of the third shift in Oshawa, which means 750 permanent jobs and 1,500 to 2,000 spin-off jobs will be leaving our community. Since President Trump started this tariff war, workers have been bracing for impact, and now GM has made a reckless and political move that is putting the future of so many workers at risk. The last time, the Premier sided with GM and said the ship had left the dock. Well, now the ship is leaving. So, Premier, will you stand with Oshawa's auto workers, and this time, will you fight for the workers?
Response, I recognize the member for Bay of Quinte.
Well, thank you very much, Speaker, and thank you to the member from Oshawa for the question. And we know on this side of the House how important those manufacturing jobs are. In fact, they're the lifeblood of so many of our communities, including mine in Bay of Quinte, where 28.5% of our GDP comes from manufacturing exports to the United States. That's why we put forward $11 billion in solutions to keep businesses afloat and keep workers working, bringing home those paychecks and being able to put food on the table for their families. And that's not all. We've also put forward more money, hundreds of millions of dollars, for the Made in Ontario Manufacturers Tax Credit, more money for the Skilled Development Fund to train hundreds of thousands of workers who may have lost their jobs, and tens of millions of dollars for the Trade Impacted Communities Fund for communities like yours in Oshawa or in Windsor or my home community of Bay of Quinte. This government is always going to prioritize the needs of the people of Ontario and make sure that we protect their livelihoods for years to come.
Back to the member for Oshawa.
Thank you. And with all due respect, we're not ready to talk about retraining. We have 6 months ahead of us, and we've got some fight in Oshawa. Workers who are losing their jobs are devastated, and families are reeling. Unifor Local 222 and all the auto workers are fighting back against Donald Trump's chaos, and I am proud to fight alongside them. This feels familiar. Auto workers in our community have fought to keep jobs here many times before, and we need all levels of government committed to workers to fight to keep good jobs here and keep manufacturers committed to Ontario. Oshawa built GM. Ontario has made massive financial investments, but people are worried that there weren't strings attached. And so, Premier, what are you doing to make sure GM stays committed to Ontario and to Oshawa workers?
Back to the member from Bay of Quinte.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you once again to the member from Oshawa for the question. And we understand how important this question is for Oshawa in light of these layoffs, which are very troubling and very damaging to those families. But as I asserted for you earlier, our government has been in constant contact with the company as well as with our labour partners, and they have recommitted several times in the course of those conversations to making sure that the Oshawa plant will remain and will continue to produce Ontario-made trucks for years to come. Now, I know that there's been a lot of strife in Oshawa over the years, particularly during the previous Liberal government when they tried to chase away 300,000 manufacturing jobs. This government has continued to make sure that those investments are incoming, with over $75 billion of new investments since 2018, creating over 1 million new jobs. We will always stand strong with workers and with businesses to make sure we're building a better economy that works for everyone here in Ontario.